Oh, it's in front of the speaker.
All right. So you spoke about the role of the media in promoting and also shining the spotlight on you and the fight, and later it became you being the activist really became the injustice. What do you think public figures like celebrities that are not in the sport fraternity, what do you think their role should be? And has anybody, I know when you came back in 2009, there were hundreds of South Africans waiting for you at the airport, amongst many others, Julius Malema, Mawini, Mandela, a lot of people were there to support you, But since, has anybody, like a public figure, celebrity that is not in the sporting realm, has come out and spoken openly about, their support?
I think everyone has been supportive about this journey. And obviously, I think each and every individual has got their own personality. I think they have a way, of doing things. I think each and every individual understand how I do things and how I want people to engage with me. I'm a very reserved, individual that, expect, people to respect and understand how I want to do things. I'll say everyone is more supportive. I'm okay with people going, publicly supporting, but they say actions speak louder than words. If you support me pure-heartedly. Don't support me because you want people to see that more likes or followers. All those things. That's what pisses me off. Sorry about that. If you're going to support an individual, show it. Make me feel it. Then I respect it. And you touch people based on how celebrities and all these guys should play a role. I think their role should be setting by example, sharing the experience and knowledge and building this upcoming generation instead of showing off, trying to make people feel you of whatever your wealth is or whatever you have. But at least teach them, how things are being done. Teach them on being a good human being. Teach them on how to respect, how to engage, and also how to support. I think that's what I understand about the celebrity status, about the well-known, about all those things. Because you are an example, we look up to you. And if you're not going to, show me how to live a good life, how to make money as much as, some of people, they show off, they do this and that. Teach these young kids, how to invest in themselves, how to put themselves first before anything, because whatever we have in this world is temporary, it's not permanent. Being famous is just temporary. Today people know me, tomorrow they forget about me. And today people celebrate me, I offend, they start being against me. So for me, I think as a well-known person, as someone, these young kids, idolize, you should carry yourself in a good manner, because 1 second I post something there on social media, everyone sees it and everyone sharing those videos. It should be something positive, not negative, because it can play a big impact, in this, young generation, where you're doing something wrong and then the thing is right. And then you realize, after so many years, you try to advise someone, based on that, and you've forgotten that you've done it before. And they're going to remind you of those things that you've been doing. And it's not going to reflect, because it's going to be like, you disrespect me, but then they say, my man or sister, you've done that before. At that particular time, do you think that, what I'm saying is that we should lead by example, we should teach. And for me, I never want to do something that, I don't want people, to do it to me, because what men can do, other men can do. They always say that. I don't know why they say what men can do, other men can do, not about women. Sometimes it confuses me. Everything is all about men. But what I'm saying is that, look, we as people who are well known, we should, lead by example, live appropriate way, make sure that we pave ways, and make sure that the young upcoming generation will learn from us. We say, look, because of Kester, because of Geraldine, I'm here because of them, because of their doings, because they respect, other humans. Because of, in sports, we often tend to meet up with people who pretend. The reason why I mention that is because we may be in the same wall, and someone will be pretending as if they love or support you, while behind your back, they're doing something, And it has happened to me where my opponents will be like, well done, and then in their heart will be, I know, you're not happy, and you get surprised when you see someone, doing this crazy interview, talking nonsense, about you, and then you give me that smile and be like, women, please, just be who you are, just show me that you don't like me, at least then we in the same page. So what I'm trying to say is that, celebrities, all leaders, do not portray yourself as a good person if you know you're not. Rather just show the real you, and then we understand that you are that kind of a person. Because now when we meet someone, we'll be like a totally different individual. So let's lead by example. Yeah.
All right. So do you think we're going to talk about opportunities and sponsors? I see you didn't come in here with a car that said driven Custer Semenya, all the branding, all of that. Do you believe that your gender has been a barrier to many opportunities? I've seen, and I know there are only friends of mine, Akani, sponsored by Benz. Wade came back from the 2016 Olympics, and there was a R8 waiting for him at the airport, a blue a red one. And I just want to know, because I know you're also a very private person, as crazy as you can be, but I just want to know, as far as your gender, has that been a barrier to so many other opportunities in terms of either sponsorship, work, appearance, or where you would be on TV, or endorsements and all of that?
No, I don't think my gender has been a barrier to any other opportunities. I think the corporate world knows that I understand myself. I'm authentic, I'm natural, and I'm not going to be somebody I'm not because I want to be spoiled. You understand? So you should be true to yourself, and then you live happily after. I don't think it's a barrier. I think it's me understanding my worth. You understand? I understand my rates, I understand everything. Even my manager knows I do not negotiate for something that will make me happy. For instance, you mentioned about car dealerships and all those things. Those guys are doing business. I'm also a brand, I deserve, respect, for my name and for the name, for the work I do. And if we do not come, in terms where we say, look, we're going to sign a deal where that makes both parties, happy, I'm not going to go for it. So I rather go, run my races, make my own money, buy the car that makes me happy, and then I'm happy, rather than sitting at home with a lot of branded clothes, but then my pocket is like this.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So I think it's about understanding what you're doing, knowing what you deserve, and then also your right. So it has never played that role. So I just understand what I deserve and what I want. So unfortunately, I am that tough cookie that comes, evaluate the contract and say, look, change that, change that. If the figure is not there, you're not doing it. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're not giving me that car, I'm not signing.
Yes.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I need that and that. So if you want me to make you happy, so make me happy too.
Yeah.
So it should be, for both sides.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be about, I want, this young, upcoming kid to see that car and drive the car. I'm okay with my dream. I'm okay.
Yeah.
Okay. It takes me wherever I go.
Yes.
But then if someone is going to come with a deal that makes, both parties happy, then we're talking business.
Yeah.
But then if it's only going to, accommodate, other parties, and then it does not accommodate me, does not make me happy. That means we do not have the same goal, we do not have the same vision. So that means you want to use me, and then when I'm done with my spikes, and then you say bye. So I want it to be like this. When I'm done, running, when I'm done, promoting, sponsorship, I'm also satisfied. I've invested, I have wealth. I can live. I can have farmhouse like they have. It has to be like that. And then for the young, upcoming, kids, I always tell them that do not sign for something that doesn't make you happy, because then you're gonna come to me complain and say, "Cuz, how did you do?" I'm like, "Are you happy?" No. Why did you sign it? You understand?
Yeah.
I think that's what I'm trying to say, that do not sign up for something that does not make you happy.
And also, I'm happy you mentioned that, because I've seen so many athletes, rugby players, soccer players, that were at very best, world champions and all of that. But after they've hung up their spikes, unfortunately, they don't have anything to show for it. And I think that is a lot of good lessons, life lessons that we can teach our young kids. Yeah. In closing, Casper, when you do hang up your spikes, I know it's going to be soon because you're off to Mauritius to compete at the African Championships in the 5,000. You guys are leaving anytime soon. When you hang up your spikes one day, what would you like to be remembered as? Casper Semenya, the Olympic gold medalist, the world champion, the greatest athlete that has ever walked on the grounds of St. Benedicts. Or you want to be remembered as Casper Semenya, the activist, the person who fought for those girls who do not have a voice, for those girls who are in the same condition, I could say, as you, that do not have the vocabulary, the language to speak up and to fight those IAA giants. What would you like us to remember?
Yeah, of course. I would say I don't like calling myself an activist. I like calling myself an advocate. Yes. I think I want to be remembered of that. Person who fought for injustice, person who fought for equality, person who fought for humanity, and all those things. I don't want to be just remembered of years of a great runner. No, those are in the history books. We will never forget it. I want to be attached to someone's heart of my humbleness, being easy, being authentic, being natural, being true to myself. But also, I want them to understand, remember me of the self-love I had for myself. I always say it's good to be, be true to yourself. I want each and every individual, when they think of this name, they think of just authenticity. Simple. Just being yourself, fighting for yourself, fighting for your rights, just being who you are. I think those are the things that I want people to always remember me of. Not of this running, winning goals. It's okay that one is sports history, but when we talk about humanity, it should be that. It should be someone who understood herself, someone who was fearless and apologetic, loved herself more than anything, and always happy.
Always happy. Thank you so much. We have 10 minutes, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to open it up now for questions. We have Tashil on the mic. Would you like to pose a question to Pastor?
Hello.
Oh no, can keep going.
Hello, can you hear me? Hi, Pastor. My name is Dan. I just wanted to start by saying that I was an obsessed athletics kid in 2009, and it was such an extraordinary moment when you burst onto the scene, and I will never forget ever suddenly, and this might be the only time this has happened in history, ministers of a country suddenly knew everything about gender. Men, women. I don't think this has happened in any country in the world ever. They were experts on sex and on bodies and fighting the IAAF, and it was incredible. But what I also remember was at my co-ed school, girls just suddenly wanting to do athletics because they had inspiration and they had never felt validated or given space. In many schools where I came from, girls didn't have athletic programs and boys did, and suddenly girls were sitting in restaurants, seeing the whole restaurant stop to watch you run in a country where very often athletics isn't watched much at all. And that was an extraordinary moment that I will always remember. And so what I wanted to ask you was, you've spoken a lot about this fortitude you got from your family and your teachers in your school. There are many girls in South Africa seem not to have access to that. And so if you could speak to every single principal and athletics coach in every girls' school, co-ed school in the country right now, what would you tell them they needed to do to create a context where an inspiration like Pastor Semenya is great, but actually they're getting the validation and support from the school itself to pursue the dream that you fulfilled?
Yeah, this is quite a very simple one, and I always preach about it. It's very simple. You don't need any validation to anyone. Your existence comes within you. If you accept yourself and say, look, I am going to be the best at what I do, you don't need anyone to tell you that. Only if you are positive, you have you have it in you and say, you show it, you put effort in you showing people. Of course, because if you accept yourself, then people will accept you. If you feel like you exist, people will feel your existence. So it shouldn't be about what other people see in you. It's your own responsibility as an individual to show the world that, hey, I am whoever I am, and I belong here. Because if you don't do that, then you want people to feel sorry for you. You always want people to see that, oh, she's talented. No, you gotta know that I'm talented, I'm going to do that, I'm going to show them. And then that's your existence. But then if you're going to say, no, I want validation to someone, that's where the problem begins, because you do not believe in what you do. You want people to believe in you before even you believe in yourself. So it should come within you. But for me, my dad never knew that I'm a good runner. He bought me soccer boots. I sold them for spikes. I got home. Yes. I went home, then I told him, Baba, I'm a runner now. And then he was like, do you think it's the right thing to do? I said, yes, because I can feel it. I can feel it in me. It's not up to him. up to me. But the advice that I can give you to each and every young boy, young girl out there is that believe in yourself. You know, if you believe in yourself, you will believe in you.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Yep.
So my question to Custer is with regards to our educators who are in the sports space, so our head of sports, our sport coaches, possibly what would be your advice in how they can become better allies for the students who are in a very similar space to where you're at, in how they navigate these sporting spaces? I think also especially taking into consideration if you're in a monastic system, so you're in a girls-only school or a boys-only school, and like yourself, you want to do the soccer, for example. So what kind of tools or what kind of advice would you be able to provide for those educators to ensure that we are becoming better allies for our young youth who are navigating these spaces?
Yeah, I think for our educators, I think it's very simple. You know, Geraldine knows that. They need to start engaging themselves with people who are in sports fraternity. We do have coaching courses that we have because of I know that most of the educators, they are not qualified coaches. They do not understand the process. They do not understand periodization. How you should be training an athlete. What is it that is needed to be done. They just think that if it's athletic season, come, let's run. No. We do this thing. It's seasonal. We have off season, we have pre-season, and we have post. We have those things. I think they should engage themselves with people who are doing sports, especially local. What we call in the provinces, we do have offices that each and every designated provinces where we have offices for athletics. If you are in Bobo, there's Lima. Engage yourself, with those people, and they'll give you a right timer on how to deal, with this situation. It's very simple. Then they will be certified, coaches. Then it makes it easy to develop sports, especially from disadvantaged backgrounds. Because for me, I've been a victim of changing, events because of there was no one with knowledge who can train me. The only way for me to be successful was like running the bush, Then because of I don't need someone to coach me, I just have to run. And then I get to the cross country, I win there. So I was a sprinter anyway before. So but because of lack of resources, lack of skills from my teachers, but it's very simple. They must just engage with people from those athletics offices where they can register them as a coach. They do coaching clinics. We have coaching level 1, 2, 3. You name them all. If they can do that, then it becomes easy for them to coach these young kids.
Afternoon. First of all, thanks for being here and addressing us. It's been absolutely amazing listening to you. We kind of have a joint thing, after the question. So, first of all, your self-belief in yourself is just so unwavering. And you are just so, you believe in yourself and who you are and what you do. And I want to know where does that strength come from and how do you maintain it? Because I don't think I go 24 hours without having moments of doubt in myself, and then being a teacher and having to instill belief in the kids I teach and telling them they can do anything. And how do you maintain that and any advice on it? And then my friend also has a follow-up.
So I think the connection to that is how do you feed that back into the community, and how do you feed that back into your specific community where there's accountability for that? Because I think that is what we're trying to do as well. So it's that sort of level.
Yeah, this one is quite difficult to answer you because I'm an African. So with me, I'm going to be honest with you. I consult with my ancestors. I'm very connected to my forefathers, you understand? I think I draw my strength to them. Before I do anything, I consult with them. I was given talent by God, but then they strengthened me. You understand? So I think for me, being positive in everything, believing in myself, it comes from my grandfathers. They were great in what they do. They were fearless. I think they passed that through me. But for me, I'm quite a chilled person. I take it as it comes. If I don't have something, I don't have it. I do not rely on any other things than whatever I have around me. Yes, so I can only, control what I have. But other things, around the noise and everything, I just mute it. So, yeah, what I can say to answer it in a simple way is that I just, be me for me. I think that's what comes, naturally. And I believe in myself well, say I know myself better. I had to learn how to deal with myself. I had to learn how to deal with other humans. I know that walking out there, people will be judging me by my appearance, but that does not define me. I think it's because from young I had to learn how to study myself, how to carry myself out there, how to maintain myself. And also, I'm consistent in everything that I do. So I think that's what helps me a lot. So my confidence is on another level. So there's nothing that can challenge me. That's what I can say, because I'm my own challenge. I always tell even my parents will be like, hey, you gotta know what you're doing. And when you say something, you gotta be able to defend it. You understand? So I'll say my forefathers are my strength. So yeah.
Just to follow up. So you also have you're a club owner.
Yes.
And there are a lot of young talent that are coming through. And how are you transferring this energy on self-confidence, onto Kaba that's very old now, challenge the South African record, and all the other youngsters that look up to you. You're not only the club manager, you have a lot of hats that you see. And how do you instill your belief and your way of doing things to the young kids and the coaches in the club?
I think I always tell them simplicity is the best outfit that you can want. And people don't understand it. I think as a human, like I said, you gotta study yourself. You gotta know the direction you're heading. You gotta know your destination. You gotta know where you want to end up. You have to set out your goals and say, look, this is what I want to achieve. And there's nothing or anyone will come, disturb me. But the only one thing that I'm going to tell you all here is that stop competing with your neighbors. Be yourself. Be in your lane. Create boundaries. Know yourself. Know where you are. Because of now you want to be where your neighbor is. It does not mean if I'm staying in a shed with my neighbor is in the double story, I need to be competing with that person. No. Control the situation and be yourself. That's the advice I give it to my athletes and all those things. Be yourself, understand where you're going, understand that direction, and keep going to that same direction. Do not change that.
Recording in progress.
Of anyone. It's very simple. Be true to yourself, stick to your plans. Do not change anything because of anyone. I think that's the best way to live life, because the minute you start observing to the left instead of going to the right, it becomes a problem. So that's what I advise all the coaches and athletes. Stick to your plans. Don't go to the training because you see me doing 1,000 times 10 today. You want to do 1,000 times 12 because you want to be better than me. it should be in your memo. If your program is written, stick to it. But the problem with us human, we want to compete even when it's unnecessary. You understand? So for one to be better, focus on being the best that you can be instead of being better than others. Thank you.
Hi, Pastor. Firstly, it's great to see you back on the track after a very long hiatus, but you have been a role model to individuals and you've stood up against discrimination time and time again. As an individual who's always authentic and I don't think would ever wait for that authenticity to run, what does the future in terms of athletics look like for you? Because we see you in the 3K, disciplines that aren't traditionally your normal kind of running. So when it comes back to the 800, what did that look like in the future? And would you ever then use your authenticity to ever participate in a race?
I'll say 800 meters is a closed chapter. Now we're talking maturity. When you're getting older, you start to escalate. You start climbing the steps. In the term of sports, in athletics, Geraldine knows, unfortunately for them sprinters, you can only go to 400. But with us, middle and long, there are times where muscles can no longer bear speed. That's where it comes. Actually, I was about to move to distance. I had only 4 years to fight, which is now nearing the end. I was about to move to 5K, 10K. That's my future. My future lies on marathon. So, even IAAF tried to come with their tactics and say, no, you can run only 2,000, never 10 kilometers. Yes, they were my plans. They fall into my trap. That's where they are where exactly I want them to be. Just to be a problem. So, their problem was to get rid of me. Now they see a lot of me. You get what I'm saying? So the answer is, my future, I still have 10 years, counting from now. I'll retire at 40, and 5K, maybe I only have now till Paris, and from there I'll be a marathoner. Road runner, yes. I don't know. I'm still studying there. I'm still trying to understand how to make good money on it.
Pastor, thank you so much. I think we have really enjoyed hearing you. And thank you for being you. And you say you are unapologetically who you are. And that is, I think, the biggest lesson that we can take. Just be you. Don't try to be somebody else. The IAAF try to make you into something that they want to do, and you say, no, that's not me. I'm here, and I'm here to stay. So thank you very much for your time. Thank you. We really enjoyed it. And it's not the last that we're going to see you. We'll see you all the best for African Championships, Mauritius, and also for your athletes. I know you have a few athletes that will also compete with you. And when it comes to competition, it's all business.
Yeah.
Athlete or no athlete, coach or no coach.
If I coach you, I have to destroy you.